If your mind's been racing or you just cannot seem to switch your brain off, I've got a gentle drawing pattern that can help bring you back into the present moment and out of your head. It's called Fife and it's easier than it looks. So let's just get started. So we are going to put some dots quite close to the corners of our tile. One in each corner. And then you can join these fairly straight or slightly curvy. There's not a specific rule with this. We're simply joining the dots to form a border. Now we can create a string at this point in time, which is simply a line or a series of lines to further split this tile up into smaller sections. But today I'm just going to use this basic outside square as my string. And for this first part of it, I'm using a brown 05 micron pen. And what we're going to do is place some dots. Zentangle refer to these dots as a pegboard. So simply meaning that we're going to try and have them as equally distanced apart as we can. And that's where our mindfulness comes in when we're practicing the Zentangle method. See, I'm not doing the dots here because I feel like the borderline here is in the bit where the dots would have fallen. You might have yours in a different way, and by all means feel free to put the dots in on your tile. So as I get started on the next section, I'm going to introduce myself, but this is what I'm going to do first for all of these dots. We're going to connect them with a rice shape vertically, like so. All of these dots horizontally. So my name is Lisa of Create and Cam with Lisa, and I'm a certified Zentangle teacher. And I film these videos and I put one of them out on YouTube every week. Now you can see, I didn't put a dot there originally, I don't think. The dot is there, the border rather, is there as a guideline. You can go with it or you can ignore it. You don't have to obey it. So yeah, I'm a certified Zentangle teacher and I put out these videos weekly. I tend to try not to have them run very long. If you were to come to one of my lessons, I would be telling you, in person or online, I'd be a bit more into all of the steps, because Zentangle begins with gratitude. It's a very, very important aspect of the Zentangle method is the gratitude. Just having made the time for yourself to sit and do some mindful creativity today. It's so relaxing just to be in the rhythm. Once your dots are down, you don't have to question where you have to put anything. You just let the dots tell you. It's as simple as that. So I've got all of my lines, my dots connected in the vertical way. So now I'm going to rotate my tile 90 degrees. So now I am going to repeat the same steps. So I'm just connecting the dots in the bits that were originally horizontal, but now they're vertical on my tile. if you're new to the Zentangle method or to my channel, it's worth letting you know how effective this amazing art form is on your mental health. Because you're getting so focused. For me personally, I mean, I like traditional meditation where you kind of sit and try and quiet your mind. I like that to an extent, but I feel like my brain doesn't ever properly switch off. But when you're doing the Zentangle method, you get that extra focus when your hands are doing something as well. There's nothing in my life quite as effective as the Zentangle method for helping me just to get out of my head for a wee while. Suffer from anxiety, and Zentangle is just amazing for helping with that. So we've connected all of those dots vertically and horizontally, and now we're going to connect them diagonally, like so. Just repeating that exact same shape. Yet another rice shape, but it's just slightly differently orientated. Nice and slow. I'm probably inclined to be drawing mine faster because I'm on camera. But at home, take your time. Do this as slow as you can. The slower you do it, the more mindful you are and the more benefit that you'll receive. And I'm using a Renaissance tile today, by which I mean it's this in this particular instance it's a quite a pale tan colour of tile. You can get darker tan paper, but a Renaissance tile is tan paper of some description, and then you end up using brown ink and black ink, and then instead of just having shading, we bring in highlight with white pen and white pencil. You can draw along at home just with white paper and pencil. You don't have to do this, in the Renaissance style the way that I'm teaching it just now. You can make it much more basic, and I'll show you a tile later on that is basically just black and white. So now we are going to do Hollyball fashion, which is simply when we come to a line that we've previously drawn, we're drawing a new rice shape. We just ignore the rice shape that we've previously drawn, and then we continue that line once we get to the other side of the original shape. So it's like our new rice shape is behind this first one. And we're going to do that in every single square that we have here. And this is a tangle, in its own right, Fife. But it's very, it falls right into the category of fragments and reticula. I did a video on fragments and reticula a couple of weeks ago. If you want to go and look for that, I'll link to it as well so that you can see it. But fragments and reticula is just basically reticulin being some kind of grid shape, and then a fragment is a repeating shape within that grid. This is very, very much a fragment and reticula type of tangle, but it is a tangle in its own right. So relaxing to do. Just get right into the rhythm of it all. I hadn't done Fife for quite a long time, And then just in the last few weeks, Zentangle had their Bijou, Be Well. I can't remember what the name of the series is. Be Well, Bijou. I'll link to that in my description. There was a few days in May where they were every day putting up a video. There was no narration, it was just, but you could mute it, or Rick was playing flute in the background. But they did Fife for one of the tangles during that series, and since then I've done Fife a few times because I'd forgotten how much I love Fife. So now I've put my brown 05 aside, and I'm going to my black Micron 01. You could just, if you wanted to, you could ink in with your brown 05 here, the bits that are kind of left behind in the rice shapes. But I'm going to come in, I actually saw a video a while back. I don't think it was a Zentangle video, but it was Molly, as in Rick and Maria's stepdaughter. So I think it was Sakura maybe. There's a video on YouTube and Molly was showing people how to do Fife on a Renaissance tile. And if I were only able to use one type of surface to tangle on for the rest of my days, it would be Renaissance for me every time. I love the kind of basic Zentangle tiles, the white with the black ink. But there's something really cool in my mind about doing the Renaissance style. I just feel, I was going to say drawn to that. It's not a deliberate pun, but you know what I mean. So we're just trying to squish these orbs. And I don't think I even said what I was doing. I think I just went ahead and did it. It was just right in the moment. You're literally just, it's almost as if you're familiar with the Enzeppel tangle. You're just cutting the corners basically as you draw an orb in that space that's left behind outside of the rice shapes. Just inking in the corners. And there's something really cool about that. So we're just going to do that on each and every space. And it is a day for tangling in Scotland, because by which I mean it's not a day to be outside. I came back earlier on, I was out at the wee retreat this morning. I had a class booked in at the wee retreat, and I came home. I'd been wearing jeans and they were all soaking wet when I came in. So it's a day for being in the house and staying cosy. I'm going to have to walk later on to go and collect Isla from the childminders, but that's a bridge that I'll cross when I come to it. It might have dried up by then. She's got her dancing display tonight. Not tonight, she's got dancing tonight, but she's got her dancing display on Saturday, so this is going to be the last rehearsal tonight ahead of the actual big day, so I think she's looking forward to it. It's worth checking in with yourself to see how you're holding your pen, because you might not realise it, but if you're feeling tense and you're not relaxed as much as you think you have, you might be holding on much more tight to the pen than you realise. So just try and ease off any tension in your body, including in your fingers. This is a fun thing that we're doing after all. And we're not aiming for anything perfect. It's just about the process. So I'm wondering, did you do the Be Well Bijou series yourself? I thought it was great fun. It was really, really good. I liked how they had the same string every day, which actually, now that I think about it, I'm sitting here doing Fife. The string that Zentangle had done was basically a rice shape. They had the exact same string each day of the series. And they put all kinds of different tangles into that rice shape. But the rice shape was much bigger on the tile, obviously. Some of these, depending on how you've drawn it, some of these shapes might have much, much less space, but don't worry about it. Just work with what you've got and don't judge it. It just is what it is. Almost there. So for the time being, I'm finished with my ink. I'm moving on to my General's charcoal white pencil now, and I'm going to add some white into each of these rice shapes. Now, I am going to be shading with graphite in the corners where all these different bits join, so I'm not necessarily trying to get this white charcoal to be filling the whole rice shape. If you just put it in the centre, that is more than enough. And then we'll do that for all the other ones as well. Remembering not to hurry yourself. Just taking your time and enjoying this moment that you've made for yourself. So I'm now also going to add charcoal into the rice shapes where they disappear underneath the other one. I just love the it's not complex as such, but you know, it's just much more dimensional. It adds something extra to this tile when you start adding the highlight as well as the shade. So I'm going to just go over all of these bits. Just be gentle on the paper, because especially if you have one of the older Zentangle Renaissance tiles, because they can actually be a little bit delicate and you don't want to tear your tile. You don't want to rip the paper or, you know, ruffle the fibres of it. So just gently rubbing that white colour into the paper. I love this already, and it's not even finished. Okay, look at that. And then we're going to put on each end of that rice shape. So basically where all the, if you imagine those bits are a flower shape, any place where we've got all those different rice shapes coming to a point, we're going to add some graphite in there. Okay, so then we're going to just do the exact same thing as before with the blending stump. This is obviously a different blending stump. This is specifically for the graphite. We're just smoothing that out gently. Don't go too far into the centre, otherwise you'll take away the contrast that you were looking for with the white. I've not even put any graphite here. There we go. There's one thing I want to do that's still another shading thing. Anywhere that we've got that rice shape that kind of disappears below the top one, I'm going to add a wee bit of graphite either side of that. It just adds a wee bit of, not oomph, but you know what I mean, it's adding that dimension. Excuse me. We're not really smoothing this one out the way, we're just kind of going over, we're not pulling it out from the centre, we're just smoothing it there. There we go. And to be honest, I mean, I think I would actually darken, I would add even more graphite for more contrast, but I think just for the purposes of the fact that I'm on camera and I don't want to kind of overrun with this lesson and bore you all by taking too long, because my videos aren't sped up at any points. I'm going to just leave the graphite as the kind of level of darkness that it actually is at the moment, but you know, you can add much more graphite yourself if you would like. And then I'm going to, you could add like the pastel pencil, charcoal pencil in these orbs, but I'm just going quickly just in with a jelly roll. This is jelly roll 08. This is obviously optional. The orbs aren't very big at all, so there's not much that needs to be done with them. I'm just adding a small bit of contrast. When you're doing this at home, you can take your time much more than I am. It's like I always say, the slower that you can go with your Zentangle practice, you will receive much more benefit from it. Get yourself right in the zone. So that is all of my orbs done. And what I'm going to do now is return to my 05 brown, and I'm going to restate these lines that have just kind of got a bit faded as we've been highlighting and shading. It's a small but subtle step that you can choose to do or not do. But I think it's worth doing it. And this bit is really relaxing because you're essentially just tracing. You're not forming a brand new line. You're just going over a line that you've previously created, and I find that very relaxing. And you're not wanting to go too fast in case you go outside of that previous line, so it encourages you to be mindful and careful about where you're putting your pen. She says as she smudges it, but there are no mistakes. And then just turning my tile so that it's much more comfortable. Always move your tile to make you feel the most comfortable that you can be. I'm interested to know actually how many of you like the Renaissance method just like I do. Are you kind of into doing Renaissance tangling, or are you a bit more of a purist when it comes to your Zentangle practice? You let me know in the comments what kind of tangling you feel that you are more inclined to want to do. Maybe you like a bit of everything. Like I say, there's something special about the basic Zentangle tiles when you have nothing but a pen and pencil. You can really create something special with basic supplies. So now just restating those diagonal lines. You sometimes don't appreciate how faded that the lines have actually gone until you put the second layer of your ink on it. There we go, and we'll just do those rice shapes that are underneath, and then that'll be us almost finished. Also, I'm talking about putting things in the comments before. Do let me know if there are specific tangles or techniques, whatever it is, if there's anything that you would like me to do on YouTube, do let me know, because there are quite a lot of different requests that have come in that have influenced the videos that I've created. I think somebody recently said that I could maybe look to do a bigger project. I'm not entirely sure how I'd do that yet, like maybe whether I would do it as a series of videos, because I don't want to make my videos too long. But yeah, I'll definitely do my best to film whatever it is that you would like to see, even if it's not that you maybe know perfectly well how to create the tangle that you would like me to do, but sometimes it's just interesting to see how somebody else would tangle it in comparison with other tanglers. So that is the kind of restating the lines bit, and I'm going to just, not on all the different edges, but on the bottom border and on the right hand border or side of the border, I'm just putting a little bit of graphite just to create a shadow. You don't have to do that bit if you don't want to. I just think it adds a wee bit of something. And then just smoothing that out gently into the paper. And then last step is to add our chop, just being something that identifies this tile as having been created by us. So today I'm just going to go for my initials, put them in a circle. You don't have to do this kind of thing with your chop, as in adding highlight and shade and all that kind of thing, but just because I can, I will. And that is Fife, which was deconstructed by Zentangle HQ. I'm not sure if I said that earlier in the video. And just now I'm going to show you other examples. This is the one that I did as a part of the Be Well, Be Well. I cannot remember the name of the series, but I think if you are a tangler, you'll probably know, you'd probably follow along with Zentangle HQ as well. This one I really like. It's just the kind of purple and the teal colours that I feel like I'm kind of drawn towards doing. And this one here, you can see I've created it, but I've not done the orbs in each of those 4 bits next to the rice shapes. Same here, except it's like on a tile where I've used a lot of metallic pen and metallic pencils. I quite like that one. This is, I was going to teach this in the class that I was doing just now, The reason I didn't teach this string is I wanted to make it as easy for you to follow along at home if you haven't ever done Fife. So I thought I'll just do it on a square grid, but you can see how you can adapt Fife to fit in any shape that you would like. It doesn't have to be a square grid. This is the tile that I created, I believe, after following along with the one that Molly did on the Sakura YouTube video. Hers was a different string altogether and she didn't use striping in hers. I think she literally just did the Fife tangle, but I did that after following along with her. This one here is a small difference, but if you kind of see, you can put like a small embellishment. It's just a square basically with a dot in the middle, but it adds something different. And then here I've got it. I don't even think I'm finished this one because I've not shaded this diva dance here, rock and roll diva dance. But you can just see, you know, ways that you can use it, different tangles that you can put it next to. I mean, tangles can go with any other tangles that you want really, but sometimes it's just good to see what other people have done and how they've gone about it. So I hope that this has provided some inspiration for me. If it has, for you, if it has, give the video the thumbs up, like it please. That would be very much appreciated and means that other people will get to see it as well. So I'll call this off for today and I hope to see you at a video in the future. Thank you. Bye.